Hola clase. So I'm just going to show you what to do for today. First, let's just go into the homework that was due for today, which is the paragraph with the imperfecto. So if you look, that is going to be in your verbos. And we're going into the tareas de imperfecto. If you need to pause this video at any time to check where or just need more time, go ahead. So here we go. We have the tareas in here. And we want to just review the answers. So if you could just check what you have and make sure that you understand more or less what's going on with the paragraph. So here we have our word bank, remember, and then here we have our answers. So you only had to do up to the end of por 6 años. So in the first one, we're trying to say when I was 15. And I explained in class that you're always going to use tenía to talk about your age in the past. So I would say cuando tenía 15 años. And in this case, we want to say, I used to live in Peru. So we would say vivía, because living somewhere over time is considered to be the imperfect. Here we're trying to say, I was very extroverted and talkative. So remember, we use ser for that. So that one should have been era, muy extrovertida y habladora. Here we're trying to say, I used to have a very interesting and fun life. That would be tenía una vida muy interesante y divertida. Each day, I used to get up at 6. That would be me levantaba, because it's saying cada día. We know that's every day. So that's a good word to use with the imperfecto. Me levantaba todos los días a las 6:30 de la mañana. Y I used to go out running. So you would have to say salía, from salir, a correr al parque. Y practicaba. I used to practice baloncesto todos los días con mis amigos. También, since it says 1982 1987, that's a very specific amount of time. So for that one, we're going to use jugué. That's the preterite. That's usually when you use it when you can determine exactly when that stuff was going on. Un día, and in this case, you're saying I was playing. I would take estaba or estuve for that one. I was playing. I like estaba better. Jugando en Cayo, una ciudad en Perú, y cuando it ended. So since we can pinpoint exactly when it ended, we're going to use the pretérito. Terminó el partido un chico muy guapo. Entrar, he entered. So single past action, because we could say exactly what time he entered. Entró a la cancha a felicitarnos, to congratulate us por el triunfo. Luego se, and we're going to use the verb acercarse to get near. We would say se acercó. He got close. Y me miró. He looked at me. Y me, in this one, ponerse actually means to become. So we're trying to say I became. Remember, de poner es puse. So we would say me puse. I became muy roja como una manzana. El chico, we want to say he was wearing, so that case it would be llevaba una gorra y una chaqueta negra de cuero. De repente, this word de repente is muy importante because we're saying suddenly something happened. Él me preguntó, he asked me. So that's pretérito. Él me preguntó, ¿cómo te llamas? Hola, amiga. Yo le, we want to say responded. We're going to use the pretérito responder. So it would be respondí. Gisela, ¿y tú? Gisela. Y él me, he answered me. Él me contestó. That's single past action. Exactly when he answered, you could pinpoint that. So it's not going to be imperfect. Después me dijo, de decir es dijo, he said to me, que linda juegas y felicidades por el triunfo. Finalmente me, and we're using the verb pedir to ask for, and that's one of our slipper verbs in the preterite, and it would go y to I. So it should have been me pidió. Mi número de teléfono, I knew, so that's coming from saber. To know something immediately, it's single past action. So de saber es supe. Yo supe inmediatamente que yo quería. I wanted, or you could put quise, but I would put quería ser la novia de él. And then we went out for 6 years. Because that's very specific time for 6 years, it's still, even though it was overtime, it's going to be salimos por 6 años. If you want to do the rest and come check them with me, you can. But I'm just going to have you just look at those for now, just so that you know the answers from your homework for today. Oops. Okay, so also what I wanted to make sure that you remembered is that under your pruebas and exámenes, I don't know if I think I went over this in class with you already, but remember you have your entire sheet, the outline of the test and the questions. So take a look at that and make sure you're aware of what's going on when. And so the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to Flipgrid folder here. And I'm going to explain what you have to do for your speaking portion of your exam, which is your Flipgrid. So this is going to give you 20 points for the test. So since the exam is worth 162 points, 20 of that is the speaking. That means that it's really 142 written points. So this is going to be worth 20 points. Make sure that you do follow the rubric when you record your video. You want to be able to say things that hurt you and how to describe different sicknesses. So the first thing you have to do is you're going to use that information in your Flipgrid, but you're going to watch this video on how to make an appointment with the doctor. So do your best to write down some key phrases for how you would book appointment. I don't want the same dates as that video, but use some of the phrases in your video. For example, ¿en qué puedo servirle? Or when you're making the appointment, you say, necesito una cita para el 25 de mayo. And you want to, if that date isn't available, you want to use some of the vocabulary that the recepcionista would talk to you using to make sure that you book it. Make sure that you confirm the appointment, all of that. So just take some notes on this video. You're going to watch it in class today. And then for the second part of the Flipgrid, you will need to use 3 to 4 different phrases used between a doctor and a patient, including what he might tell you to do. Like, es importante ir a urgencias, which is the emergency room, or usted necesita descansar. Those are just different ways he could tell you, es importante no usar el pie, to not use your foot if it were hurt. So make sure you watch this video too. It's 10 minutes. You don't have to use, just pick some really good phrases that you think you could use in your video. This is a 2-person project. So maybe you sit with your partner and you can go through, you could even start writing it today if you want. But you do want to watch the second video too, to make sure you know about that. So you're going to be using your encuesta, which is your survey, the one where you asked questions like, ¿tiene migrañas? And they would say, a veces tengo migrañas. Or there were all these questions you answered to say siempre. That's in your trabajo en grupos, conversación folder. So you want to make sure that you ask 5 of those questions from there and using any of the vocabulary from part 1 and 2. Your doctor should also, he's going to ask you if you had those symptoms when you were little. So he might say something like, cuando eras niña. So you want to write this down. Cuando eras niña, not cuandos, but cuando eras niña, ¿tenías migrañas? Did you used to have migrañas? So you'll notice that when you watch the film, the second video here, it will talk about how you might talk about the past. But so you want to say cuando tenías, and pick an age, like, or cuando, let's say cuando eras joven, when you were young. And then you can ask a question like, ¿tenías tos mucho? Right? Just an example. So you want to use 2 to 3 imperfect examples in your conversation. That will be part of the rubric. This is worth 20 points. So whatever, as long as you follow everything, you can come in and show me what you have before you record. Also, if you read off of your card, which means that I can tell you're reading off of a card in the Flipgrid, I will take off half points. So please just record that half off for reading. But you can have a little cheat sheet for just, showing you, like, say you get nervous during the conversation, you just need to glance at it. I would take that. But if I see that you're reading the entire time, it would be 10 out of 20 automatically. And then if you didn't follow something else. So just make sure you more or less try to memorize your conversation. These are phrases that you will hopefully use in the future when you're talking to a doctor. So they're useful Spanish phrases that you should know, or you could know. This is actually your last assignment for the year. So you want to just complete this before the 4th of June, which is the last day. And if you can get it done before, it would be better. This is basically part of the final. So when I grade your final, I'll need to add the score from this on there. So if you have any questions, let me know. Please work on watching these videos today and just getting an idea who you want to work with for your project. And then you can start reviewing. You can use the review sheet that I gave you. You can work on Quizlet if you get done. But you definitely have plenty to do to get through today. Muchas gracias, estudiantes. Adiós.